This video is just like a basic overview of QLab 4. QLab is great for school plays, dance recitals, anything that you just kind of need music to play and yet somewhat controllable. Is free download. There are paid versions as well that we'll discuss at the very end of what that expands to. Once you download QLab from qlab.app, this is the window you will see. So we'll choose a new workspace to begin our thing, to begin this session. Organizing the files, especially audio files, is helpful to QLab in that I recommend you put everything into a folder so you can kind of see that I have all my audio files, and then I will have my workspace saved in here as well. Just save your workspace. Obviously, you just go under File and Save. We'll save that one. QLab has like a toolbox up here. So it's like where you can do what type of commands you want, what type of audio files, video files, if it's a microphone, etc. This is your Q stack area, and then this will give you the specifics of that stack as well. For this video, or you may also want to go ahead and open what is happening so you can kind of keep an eye on it as well. For this video, I am going to go into the toolbox, and I'll drag all my stuff from the toolbox so that you can see what the hotkeys would be, or the keyboard shortcuts, it's a better term. So we'll just start right away. I'll grab my audio file and you just drag it in. By default, QLab will number them in consecutive order. You may want to have QLab do as a point number. All of this is up to you, but you can also do in letters as well if that's what you choose to do. And then once we dropped in the thing, you can drop in the Q or the audio file, you can see down here that it opens stuff up. So this is where you can change your Q number, your duration of however long that Q is. You also have your name of what it is, so you can rename it by script or page information. The target is where it is located, the audio file itself, and we'll come back to target when we are doing things like fades and stops and actions, so it understands what to do. Pre-wait, post-wait is dealing with delays. So if you want to delay how long it starts from when you hit the go button up here, or how long you want it to wait before it moves on to the next item. And then continue, so you have auto continue, which will automatically, as soon as I trigger this queue to go, it would begin the next queue as well if we had multiple queues in the stack. And follow would be once that this queue is completed in its entirety, so the 15 seconds, it would then jump right down to the next queue and start on the next queue. Triggers, so you can do hotkey triggers based on your keyboard. So like we could drop a P in there, and every time we press P, it would fire that phone. That would work in this case for like a good, using it as a pickup. The phone's being picked up. You could do a hotkey if you wanted. Or if you have like a backup thing, so if you have a live phone on stage and this queue is nothing more than the phone didn't work for some reason, and so you have a kind of redundant thing. You also have MIDI triggers, wall clock triggers, if you want to do it by time, and time code triggers. Times and loops we're going to kind of come back to here very shortly. This is your audio levels, so where we want to, the level we want it to work at. I typically work in where I'm always adjusting the master, so that if I'm running multi-tracks of audio output, that I'm just adjusting everything accordingly, and I don't have to go in and adjust each individual output as a whole. Okay, so on this phone rings is a long phone ring. I chose this one specifically, so I'm going to go ahead and trigger it to go. It's a bit low. So you can kind of hear how it just keeps going, and it's 4 phone rings. But it also was a little delayed on the top. So if we go under times and loops, you can kind of see that there's a slight delay. We can cut that delay in and say I only want it to ring twice, I can bring my end in, and then if I go again, you can see that it will only play twice. But in this case, let's say that I want it to keep ringing. So we'll just randomly change this to 6. And then I just hit go. And you could kind of hear it as it loops back around and picks it up, and it will keep ringing. Obviously, a phone just doesn't ever ring forever and ever, so we should probably put in some sort of stop cue. So I'm going to stop that one and come down and grab a stop cue and drop it in. But it doesn't know anything. You can see that it says there's no target. There's a question mark here just because it does not know what it is stopping. So I just bring that. I grab my phone rings, tell it, drag it on top of the stop cue. So now, if I trigger it, you see that it's running and you can hear it. And then I trigger my stop cue and it stops. But phones, sometimes you want to hear the phone being answered. So let me drop that cue in. So, but I want to change my numbering system. So I'm going to make this number 2, and I'm also going to tell it to auto continue so that when this is triggered, it immediately will do the pickup. And we will set the level at, I have no idea. Make that up. See how I do. So again, you can see it's ringing. So if you could hear that one, but man, look, that's 23 seconds long. That's a really long time. So I want to cut it down to, got it. So I just grabbed a cue. It's kind of got these weird things in it. We are just going to trim it right to there. And then right to, we'll leave that one open. My trim was not quite the best. We're going to trim it a little bit further. I think I'll also raise these levels up just a smidgen so you can hear it better. And then to try this cue. So that is how to build a quick set of cues of how you want it in a phone ring type situation. But there's a lot more that QLab can offer. You can do groups as well. Build a storm sequence. We'll drop in some rain. Obviously a little bit of thunder. We'll set those levels. Okay, so we can kind of listen to them. That's a nice level. It's a pretty good level. We'll auto continue, so we fire them both at the same time and see how it sounds. Okay, so the rain kind of came in a little bit early, and the thunder was definitely delayed, so let's look at its trim. Yep, we can trim a little bit off the top there, and that will help it. But maybe we want the thunder to be the start of the storm. So in order to reorganize your thing, you just drag it, and then you can switch which order you're firing them in. But my auto continue was on the wrong one, so I need to switch it. And There you go. So the storm's the same. However, you can still hear the rain before you really hear the thunder, and it's a little bit rushed. So we'll drop in a fade here. Again, just point to the right target. I did this level at -20, so I want this one to fade up. Again, you can title down here, or you can just double click to adjust what your title is. I will want this to auto continue. And I still have that red X if you notice, and the reason why is because I've not set levels for it. So I want to adjust this level down to nothing, and I want to make this level what that is, so that it will, interesting, there we go, so that it will be a nice fade up, and we'll do it in a 3 seconds, see how we do. Oh, that sounded really kind of nice. So we'll drop another thunder in there, and we'll make this one at 10, so it's hopefully nice loud clap. I'll fire it. Not bad. Not bad at all. But man, it rolls on for a long time. Say that ends up being distracting. We can grab another thunder cue and just overlay it, and now it switches, but it kept my level, so I can play that thunder cue. Yeah, that's a lot more of the quick clap I was looking for there. But the storm still seems to be lacking. Let's add in a little bit of wind. And we'll auto continue this one as well, and we'll put it at this level. So we'll fire it. Oops. This is not on the right cue. Not on the right cue. There. Fire it. So I'm using keyboard shortcuts. Escape is how I stop things. Okay. It's not bad at all. Maybe up a little bit. Space bar is how I am firing my cues. And these are all just kind of default within QLab. So we're going to hit escape. I mean, I can hit stop over here as well. So you can hear the rain, you can hear the wind. And you have everything running. Another option is we could drop in a thunder roll, and we can manually fire that one. And we'll probably do this one and see how it does. Yeah, that's not too bad. Or I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to make this one, if I come over here to basics, and where it's clicked armed, I select it, you can see that it no longer is armed. So when I am going, things are firing, and I click this one, nothing happens because it's not armed. I have to fire it like that. And this is all great. Man, it's like a perfect cue, but we have to fade it out. And there's a lot of options that we could do. So I could drag a fade over, and the rain is still running, so I could drop rain down. And again, it has the X because I have not said that I want everything out. And under my fade levels, I want to click stop target. I can adjust my shapes here. Again, if I want special triggers or cue numbers, what have you. So if I'm firing these, I'm just going to fire the rain light. And then I want to, so you can see it running, I want to stop it. it fades out and it stops, which is exactly what I want. But now I have gusty wind, so I'd have to build the exact same thing for the gusty wind and what have you. And it gets really complicated. A quick, easy solution around this is by using groups. So I can take my group, I can drop it in there, and then I can select all of the ones I want in my group and put them in there. And then I can label my group as a storm. So what that does is it just helps me organize a little bit. I can close my group and that's all you see. I can open my group and there's a lot more happening. And then I can also switch my fade and stop to my storm, or my group if you will, and it comes up storm because it's not numbered. If I had this one as 2.5, then it'll give me the target as 2.5 rather than the name of it. So I could fire my group, it gets me going. I'm going to jump down to fade and stop. And it stops my entire group, including that gusty wind that was not stopping. So that is a handy way. Also by adding in inactive cues into my group, I can fire it and it will immediately go on. I can adjust what this group is doing. So I have all of these, every one of these, I'm going to bring this one back out and we're going to make it armed. I have all of these doing auto continues, and I can keep doing that. Or another solution is I can get into what the group is doing under mode. So right now is start the first child or the first cue and enter the group, which is what it's doing. I can start the first child, so if this was back in here and was inactive, I can start the first child and go on to the next cue. So it started, and then it runs, and then I'm in my next thunder cue. Or I can go to my timelines and start all of them. So here on the timeline, I can adjust. And what the adjusting does is it adjusts my pre-wait time. So if I drag my rain over, it'll adjust my pre-wait, or when I want it to start. So if I want my rain to start a little bit later, then you can see that my pre-wait is 3 seconds in. It just won't, then I don't necessarily need the fade up because that's what the fade up is doing. The final thing I can do with my group is, so it started all of those, as I can go randomly, which is kind of like a shuffle, if you will, and then just it'll pick random one, which one it starts, and it goes in order from there. So that is the basic overview of QLab. If you want to go to the paid version, it is, I believe, $99 on QLab's website. It will open up more multi-track audio outputs. So instead of just a simple tube, you can also then add in video and lighting control as well, if that works for you. Thank you.